In this demonstration, we're going to look at configuring and using multi-factor authentication. All I've done here is I've come into my Azure Classic portal, I've come to my Active Directory tab, and what we're going to do here is we're going to come to our multi-factor auth providers, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new multi-factor authentication provider. Brings us into a quick create wizard. So all I'm going to do with this one here, I'm just going to call this Demo20 and then auth. Wait for me tick. I'll do it per enabled user. And what we'll also do as well is we will link this through to our default directory. Now we've done that, we'll select create. And as you can see now, it's coming up to the top here and it's creating our multi-factor authentication provider. Next thing to do is to just create some users and have that user then set up to use multi-factor authentication. So I'm just going to come back to directory. Just within directory, I'll go for my default directory. And then all we're going to do at this point here is I'm going to come to users. And then below users, what we'll do is we'll just create a new user. So we'll go add user. And we'll have a new user in our organization. And then we'll just specify our user account. And I'm going to have a user called Brian. And then OC. And that will be at Brian3110. 16outlook.onmicrosoft.com. Select our next button and then we'll just fill out the user profile table. And what I'm also going to make this user as well is I'm also going to make this user a global admin. And then what we'll do here is we'll just stick in our alternate email address. And I'm going to have that as Brian311016@outlook.com, and we'll enable multi-factor authentication. Seeing up the top here, the user will need to create app passwords to use non-browser applications. We're actually going to verify this with the Azure portal. So we'll just select our next button. We'll create our temporary password. And we'll just make a note of that temporary password. And then all we need to do at this point here is select our tick box. As we can see, we now have our Brian OC user account. Now down at the bottom here, we've got Manage Multi-Factor Authentication. So if we just highlight this button, and what we can see here is our Brian OC user account is now enabled. And all we'll do at this point is we'll just close down this screen here, and we'll also as well close down our Active Directory Classic portal. And what we're going to do here is we'll just launch up our standard portal. So that's going to be portal.azure.com, and what we're going to do here is we're going to use another user account, and then what we'll do here is we'll just specify that user account. We'll also as well specify our password, and then we select sign in. And as we can see, we've now got Microsoft Azure. For added security, we need to further verify your account. So your admin has required that you set up this account for additional security verification. So let's set this up now. And as we can see here, how should we contact you? Should we do it via an authentication phone, an office phone, or a mobile app? Let's go for authentication phone. We'll just select my region, which in my case is going to be United Kingdom. So we'll just scroll this down. Find United Kingdom. And at this point here, what we'll do is I'll then put in my mobile phone number. And what I'll say here is send me a code by text message. What I'll then do is I will then enter that code that I will get via my text message. So at this point here, rather than typing my telephone number on the screen, I'm just going to pause the demonstration, set up the telephone number, get the code, and then enter the code. So put in my code. So step 3, keep using your existing application. So in some apps like Outlook, Apple Mail, Microsoft Office, we can't use a phone to secure your account. To keep these apps, you'll need to create a new app password to use in place of your work or school password. So get started with this app password. So all I do at this point here is I just highlight this password, make a copy of it, and then what I do, keep that somewhere safe. Then at this point I just need to select done. And what it's saying here is I now need to put in the current password, which is a temporary password, and then put in my new password. So we'll just do that. And at this point we'll update password and sign in. What we can also do now as well is, now we've set up this user for multi-factor authentication, and we've now set up multi-factor authentication. If I just come back to the multi-factor authentication button, what we can now see for the user is we can now see that this user is now enforced. As you can see, we can disable, and we can also as well manage the user settings as well. So we might decide that we don't want to use multi-factor authentication anymore for this user account. We just come back to the dashboard. All we'll do at this point here is we'll just sign out. And just while I'm signing out, I'll also close down the Classic portal. And once we're signed out, we can then sign back in again. Well, as we can see here now that our user has been enabled for multi-factor authentication, the icon's different. And if I click on this user account now, what we get is we just stick in the password, sign back in again. And what we can see now is we can now see how do you want to verify your account. So what we're going to do here is text me at my telephone number. I'll receive a verification code, and I'll just type in the verification code at this point. And that's the end of this demonstration of configuring and using multi-factor authentication with Microsoft Azure. Thank you.